It is true. It is true that some women will never have the man that they really want, the relationship that they really crave for, a healthy, happy relationship. And that is not a pessimistic way to see it, it's just the reality of it. My intention for this video is really to shine a light into the reason behind it, because that's when we can shift it. Have you ever felt like you have been giving so much of yourself, you have been giving all of your time, your attention, your effort into a relationship to just never receive anything back? Or just do not receive as much as you give? If you are one of those people that you keep attracting toxic relationships into your life, if you keep on attracting emotionally unavailable people, or if you have actually people in your life physically but they will never commit to you, there is a reason for that, and I want to share with you on this video on why this is happening. So stay until the end to find out why. Hello ladies, my name is Fereniki and I have been on this self-help journey myself the last 15 years, and I am super excited to be sharing with you all of my wisdom, all of my tips, experiences, so we can uplift each other and we can live a better life for ourselves and our daughters. So the topic for today's video is why some women will never find the true love for themselves, a really truly happy relationship. And before I go into the reason of why that is, I want to share a personal story because I have been in that position myself. You know, we don't realize how much our childhood is affecting us until later on in life. My whole life I thought that I had a very healthy upbringing. I had both of my parents. I grew up in a very, nice environment in Greece, in a little town there. But then when I was growing up and start having relationships with other people, I realized there was so many wrong things that I had to figure out, and that's when I start understanding a lot of things about myself. So what happened was, when I was little, I really craved for my dad's approval. I wanted him to love me and approve me. And in order for me to get that love from him, I had to be cool, calm, and collected. I couldn't be too emotional around my dad because he didn't know how to handle it. And that's because of his own traumas, right? He was detached from his emotions because of a trauma that he had in his childhood. He lost his dad when he was 7 years old. That's another story. But what I'm trying to say is that I couldn't be very emotional around him because he was not approving of that. So I had to detach from those emotions and become a calm, cool, collected human being just to get his approval and his love. I also saw growing up my mom overcompensating. My mom was very insecure when I was growing up. She met my dad when she was 17 and my dad was 10 years older than her. So she was very insecure, and I felt like she was very unappreciated in her marriage, and I obviously witnessed all of that. And what I observed growing up was that I don't want to be like her, I want to be like him. Because in their dynamic between them, he was always winning, essentially. He had the power. So I wanted to be like him, I didn't want to be like my mom. And what that made me was, it made me detach from my emotions, because when I was growing up I was a very emotional kid, right? But I had to detach from these emotions to be like him. And growing up, I also had my dad as my professional role model. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to talk like him and think like him and walk like him. So what I actually ended up doing was copying his behavior. So I started copying his behavior and acted a little bit narcissistic that he was. But also at the same time, I was codependent emotionally to him. It's so complex. I was at the same time a little bit narcissistic and also codependent. So growing up, I saw those patterns into my own relationships, and I had to do a lot of work with myself to really unpack and really unpeel that onion of my conditioning and the environment that I grew up. At the same time, what was very interesting as well was that because I wanted to be so bad like my dad and he was my role model, I tapped into my masculine energy more than my feminine energy. Remember, I also mentioned that I was also detached from my emotions, which was my feminine energy, because I had to be cool, calm and collected around him. So I connected more with my masculine energy, and what that made me do later on in life, I was very driven, very hardworking, very goal-oriented. I had all of those masculine qualities, and what happened then, it was I kept attracting in my life men that they were more in touch with their feminine energy, because opposites attract, right? So I kept on attracting those feminine men that I was not really attracted in from my inside. I was like, why am I attracting these guys, but I don't even like them? They keep on coming to me. So it was a very complex, very complicated time for me, and that's why I invested so much of my time into reading and understanding and really unpacking and unraveling those wisdoms about myself, but also about other people. So the real reason why all of these things happen, and what it really boils to when it comes to why women are not really having the men that they really crave for, is because of self-love. And that is it, really. But self-love has so many different aspects and perspectives around it. There's self-belief, which is different from self-love. There's self-acceptance. There's self-worth, which is, again, a little bit different. There's so many different aspects of self-love. But what it all boils down to is that you're not accepting yourself for who you are because of the conditioning, the environment you grew up, and how that shaped you into the person you are today. So 15 years fast forward, I have been able to heal myself from all of those traumas. And again, you might have been in similar situations, but really understand that your parents were also playing out their own traumas and their own insecurities because of their experiences. So it's no one to blame here for, but it just really an understanding and self-awareness of where you are in your journey. And I bet if you're not having the relationship you want, it's because you have not healed parts of yourself that need healing. So the way to heal, there's lots of ways. One is crying and more crying, but there are lots of techniques and tactics that you can actually do on a day-to-day basis to really find the core of you are, because the core of you is an inner goddess. It is an infinite human being with infinite potential, and in order to tap into that and really harness yourself, the real you, then you have to really get rid of all your traumas and wounds, so you can actually let that beautiful energy into your body. So if you're interested in working with yourself, if you're interested to actually healing those wounds, because most women will not actually take the time. It's really hard to face your wounds and your traumas. It's really hard to face them because you don't want to admit that actually I have so many things I have to sort out. But it's true. So most women will not admit it, and most women they won't have the patience and the courage to actually heal themselves. That's why they will never find the man that they want, and they will never have the relationship that they really crave for. But if you're still watching this video until this point, I'm sure that you're not one of those people, because you really want and crave a change. So if that's you, I have created the first self-love mastermind in London. If you're not based in London, I will also have a webinar where I'm going to share that online. Essentially, I'm going to be teaching the self-love model that I have developed, which includes all of the different aspects. Obviously, there's different levels and different, there's different levels. There's an anatomy of self-love, and I'm going through all of that at the self-love mastermind on the 16th of December at the W Hotel in London at Leicester Square. So if you'd like to come and join me and really unpack your yourself and really find out where are the things that you need to work on and what are the things that you really need to shift your perspective and allow your inner goddess to really take the lead in your life rather than operating from your own conditioning and your ego state. Then this is for you. So on the link below you can join me and come along at the Self-Love Mastermind on the 16th of December. I can't wait to meet you there.